Now talking about the next player we re-signed, of course, safety Justin Simmons. Huge move by George Payton, and honestly a great move by him to get a guy back that I think was really kind of invaluable for us. If we lost Justin Simmons this offseason and in free agency, I think we were going to be in a lot of trouble going into this season. I think George Payton, a lot of people would probably be looking at him a little bit different right now than they are currently. So it's great to get Justin Simmons back. We re-sign him to a 4-year, $61 million deal, $35 million guaranteed. He is now the highest paid safety in the league, and I think this was crucial once again to get this deal done, to get Justin Simmons back. He's a great guy for the community as well, and what he's done for the city of Denver. But he was pivotal to get back for our defense, and I think you could make an argument he's probably our best defensive player. I think if someone said that, I could see the argument for that, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. And this is a guy that's still young, only 27 years old. He was a Pro Bowler in 2020, All Pro in 2019, and really the definition of a ball hawk. He is kind of the glue that keeps our defense together. And there's no question that he has an argument for being one of the best safeties in the league, especially one of the best cover safeties in the league. And you're talking about a guy that just plays the center of the field so well. 16 interceptions in his career so far as a Denver Bronco. He had 5 last season, which was tied for fourth in the league. Talking about a guy that is just so durable, really kind of the definition of an Iron Man, has played over 1,000 snaps in each of the last 3 seasons, and has had 90 plus tackles in each of those last 3 seasons. So is also a guy that is crucial, I think, in terms of the run support he provides, and is just a great tackler in terms of that safety position. But again, the thing that makes Justin Simmons so special is his ball skills and his ability as a ball hawk, and what he provides to the middle of our defense, and his range as a defender, and his ability to just kind of roam that center of the field and make plays. Against 16 interceptions throughout his career, and the 5 alone last season. It was so crucial to get him back, and to re-sign him, and to have him back on our team. You're talking about, in my opinion, arguably the best cover safety in the NFL. So to have him now in the secondary, and you add in Kyle Fuller, you bring in Ronald Darby too. You have Bryce Callahan still and Michael Ojemudia. Now the Broncos secondary, this is looking reminiscent to 2015 again in that special group. So I'm so excited to have Justin Simmons back. Excited for him and his family. Again, this is a great move in terms of George Payton kind of showing what he's about, and rewarding a veteran, and knowing what Justin Simmons means to this roster and means to this team, even though he hasn't been the GM or been around for Justin Simmons Broncos career. Now that he comes in as the GM, you see him value Justin Simmons as he should, and give him that $61 million contract, lock him up for the next 4 years, probably the prime of his career, give him the $35 million guaranteed, and just really solidify the Broncos secondary to now have 2 All Pros in the secondary, in Kyle Fuller and Justin Simmons, and again just add a ball hawk like Justin Simmons to the corners we now have. Man, I expect that secondary to be making quite a bit of plays next season. And our pass rush, again, we were 9th in sacks. Talking about a team 13th in quarterback hits last season. Our pass rush is only going to be enhanced by this now that our secondary is elevated. And again, a lot of that has to do with keeping Justin Simmons in the Mile High City. So I'm thrilled with having Justin Simmons back. And the last move I'm going to talk about, and the other player we re-signed, another safety, another huge move in terms of really solidifying our secondary. We re-signed Kareem Jackson to a 1-year, $5 million deal. Great to bring him back. Initially, I think we cut him, and it honestly didn't look like he was going to come back. But for us to agree to this deal with him, and get him now back in the secondary. And now you reunite Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson to lock down the safety positions. And once again, at the cornerback spot, you have Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, and Bryce Callahan. That's probably your expected starters. That is a very, very nightmarish potential secondary, and it's crucial you have that in a division where you're playing Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert twice a year, right? Especially in the AFC West, you need to have the secondary locked down and solidified, and we definitely have that now, especially again bringing Justin Simmons back, but now kind of getting the backbone of our defense back in Kareem Jackson, and you get him back. His veteran presence, I think you hear that term thrown around so much, but the veteran presence that he provides for your defense and for your locker room, again, I think it's something that you can't really measure how valuable it is to our team. And again, he's getting up there in age. He's 32 years old, so I understand if people are, saying, "Oh, this guy's getting old. Why not just let him walk?" I understand, but again, I think this is a guy that his presence in our locker room as a locker room leader is so valuable as a captain of our defense. And you only signed him to a 1 year, $5 million deal. This is a really low risk deal for us, and I just think it's great to have him back in our secondary. Again, you're talking about, I think, one of the leaders of your defense, but also one of the leaders of your locker room and your team. And bringing that enormous locker room presence back is just truly invaluable. And is a guy that's really thrived his last 2 seasons here in Denver, moving from that defensive back position during his time with Houston, now moving to the safety spot here in Denver. He's really thrived at that strong safety spot for us. 160 tackles, 3 interceptions, 14 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and 5 tackles for loss the last 2 years for Kareem Jackson as a Denver Bronco. Again, playing that strong safety position for us. Really just kind of a do-it-all Swiss Army knife guy for us there. Next to Justin Simmons, who again is kind of the ball hawk, Kareem Jackson's like that enforcer that you want in the middle of the field. He really can lay the wood on guys, and he's a big hitter. He's a great tackler, again, but also can make plays in the passing game. And now you have him and Justin Simmons in the back of your secondary. I think that only gives confidence to a guy like Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby and Bryce Callahan and even Michael Ojmudia, those guys to now play more aggressively at the defensive back position. And it's also going to give your pass rush more confidence that now they have 2 safeties like that in the back end of their defense to not give up big plays. So I think it's huge to get Kareem Jackson back. Again, to now have, I think, one of the best secondaries in the NFL, especially the AFC, without question. I think there's a definite argument we have the best secondary in the AFC West. Is huge for us. Again, just to read that off for you, our defensive backs now are Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, Bryce Callahan, and Michael Ojmudia. And at safety, you bring back Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson. Again, a huge thumbs up to George Payton and what he continues to do in kind of building this team and solidifying the weaknesses that it had. And secondary is huge. And again, doing this leaves the options open at pick number 9. You still can add a defensive back in Patrick Surtain Jr. or Caleb Farley and just make this secondary potentially an all-time great secondary, right? But now with these moves and where your secondary is at, you're not forced to take that corner at number 9. You could take a best player available. If an offensive lineman drops that you like at number 9, maybe take them. If you like an inside linebacker like Micah Parsons, we were at Penn State's pro day. Maybe there's some interest there. Maybe if you like a defensive lineman, maybe you take him there. Kyle Pitts, I would love to see Kyle Pitts in our offense, and you add him to Noah Fant. What kind of offense can that now create in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy? He'd be a great pick at number 9. Or obviously the elephant in the room, which is quarterback, which we're expected to add. So it just opens up your options there. So I love bringing these guys back. It's so great to have the safety duo back, and bringing Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson back just only solidifies once again our secondary as one of the best in the league. Definitely one of the best in the AFC. I can't wait to see both these guys roaming the Mile High City in the back end of the defense next season once again.